McIntyre.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Firstly, can I thank the honourable member for Brenties, my honourable friend, for bringing this important debate. And it's so vital that we honour International Women's Day today, not only to recognise the remarkable achievements of women in my city of Gloucester and across the country, but to also accelerate the drive for equality that is still so desperately needed. Sadly, far too many women come to my surgeries with harrowing experiences of discrimination in the workplace, inequalities within the healthcare system, and violence and domestic abuse at home. Many are deeply concerned about the alarming rise in violence, and sadly last year we saw sexual and domestic abuse and violence reach record levels in Gloucester. On that latter point, I am proud to have presented my 10-minute rule bill earlier this year, which seeks to provide victims and survivors of domestic abuse with the right to access 10 days of paid safe leave. And I've had the privilege of working with employers and organisations such as the Holly Gazzard Trust, Women's Aid, Fear Free, Safe Lives and GDAS to develop this bill. We know that 1 in 4 women will experience domestic abuse in their lifetime, meaning that this bill will help so many women rebuild their lives, and I would encourage the government to add this to their mission. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is to accelerate action. I am encouraged by the government's commitment to do just that. We've committed to an ambitious plan to halve violence against women and girls, introducing Raneem's Law, protecting victims of stalking, domestic abuse and harassment, as well as criminalising spiking, improving healthcare and maternity services, particularly for women of colour, by closing the racial mortality gap, and tackling sex-based discrimination at work, supporting women during maternity and the menopause, and closing the gender pay gap. And I'd like to take this moment to celebrate some of the inspirational women in my city, like the fantastic Gloucester Hutbury women's rugby team who go for their 3rd successive title next Sunday, like my good friend Mary Smith, the only female leader of Gloucester City Council in the last 30 years, like Carol Francis, the first black female councillor in Gloucester who continues to champion her community, like Safira Karim, who, as the Member of Youth Parliament for Gloucester and Forest of Dean, gave a brilliant speech in this House just last week, like Julie Kent, who founded the charity Emily's Gift and will soon become High Sheriff. Earlier this year, we lost Baroness Sally Oppenheim Barnes, who died in January after years of service to our city. And we also thank other inspirational women for their service to Gloucester and the wider county as they stepped down this year, like Sally Bing at the Barnwood Trust, Anne Whitworth at the Gloucester Law Centre, Sue Cunningham at GL Communities and Mary Hutton at Gloucestershire ICB. I'd like to echo the member for Bridgewater's comments about the Nelson Trust, who do brilliant work in my constituency. I will continue to use my position in this House to celebrate the successes of women in Gloucester, but also to advocate for a brighter future for women, which I hope we can all agree will lead to a brighter future for Gloucester and our country. Thank you.
Dr. Marie.